As you may have gathered, the mechanics of divestment are more complicated than you might have suspected. And as you consider whether divestment is an option that you wish to endorse, you need to think about A, what you're trying to accomplish by it. So previously we heard discussion about the moral statement and the political statement. And B, if that's what you're trying to accomplish, is the 97% purity that Rob talked about before, is that good enough to accomplish it? Or do you need 100% purity? Because getting to 100% purity is extraordinarily difficult and expensive and will meet with resistance from competing concerns like fiduciary responsibilities. I'm not sure debating all of the mechanics is a good use of our remaining time here, but you do need to understand that actually executing divestment is a lot more complicated than you might have appreciated. The guys running portfolios have an awful lot of work they have to do.
Thank you for setting me up. It's not as difficult as they're going to make it out to be. Who is the customer?
We are.
Who makes the rules?
We do.
The customer does. If I have a client who comes to me and says, I don't want to own A, B, or C, and I say we can't do that, what's that customer going to do? They're going to go elsewhere, aren't they? Why is it so difficult to shop this around? I don't understand it. The other question that came to my mind while he was talking about those amazing 5 things, and I think the revolving loan fund is, if you're going to put money somewhere, that's an amazing place to put it. I really believe that. Why is it an either or? Why can't you divest and do this? It's like Dan said, you have $55 million that you can possibly add to this. And I would probably say that based on my question earlier about utilities, that like Duke Energy, like Southern Company, like AEP, that are putting out major amounts of carbon into the air, that $55 million is probably more like $100 million, give or take. So the opportunity here is great. We have a fund called the Green Sage Sustainability Portfolio. We started this, for those of you who have sat down at the Green Sage coffee shop in Asheville, you know what I'm talking about. It's got solar panels on the roof. It is a 4-star green certified restaurant. And Randy Talley, who's a friend of mine, the owner, said, I want to own a basket of sustainable stocks. And that's where it started. We started out not from I don't want to own this. We started out from the perspective of I do want to own this. And that is how we've always run this fund. We just finished our 3-year track record on it in December. To your point about positivity, let's go into this saying what we do want. There is a psychological aspect to the positive, focusing on what you want versus what you don't want. If we start from there, if we start our portfolios from there, what are we going to come up with? We're going to come up with solar, we're going to come up with wind, we're going to come up, to answer your question back there about what are the opportunities, it's solar, it's wind, it's energy efficiency. In that particular portfolio, we also look at natural and organic foods. We look at technology and Internet of Things technologies that are making processes and homes and buildings more efficient via technology, via sensors. The opportunities are there. Who has, well, I'll just hold this up. Who's got an iPad? Who's using a mechanical typewriter anymore? How about one of these things here? Any more rotary phones out there? There's one right here. Good point on the lights up here. You know how these lights are being powered? We're digging some rocks out of the ground, we're lighting them on fire, we're boiling water to turn a generator. That is like beyond using a rotary phone. That's using one of those crank ones where you call down the Marge down at the system and say, Marge, I want to talk to John. The opportunities for advancement are there. We need to send a message to the fossil fuel companies that say, you're a dinosaur. Either you evolve or you die.
Amen.
Think about it.
It's nice to say that we're the customer and we get to set the rules. That's not always the case. We have some investment managers that we'd like to be working with that say, you get too many rules, we don't really want to work with you. And when you say that you were going to exclude the energy sector, there will be a lot more of those companies who say that's just not the way we construct our portfolios. We're not going to change all of our ways of doing business to fit your rules. You're just going to have to go somewhere else. So it limits our opportunity set if we make this decision. That's why it's not an easy thing for us to do. With the commingled question, the overture as it stands now calls for us to be excluded from all commingled vehicles that hold fossil fuels. That really limits our available set of investments. That makes it really expensive for us to manage the funds. There's no way to know how performance is going to do in the future with fossil fuel stocks. So that's not the question for us, but the management costs would have an immediate cost to our beneficiaries. And our beneficiaries from the foundation are about 4,000 congregations in the PCUSA. They are mission and ministry institutions around the world. They are all of those hospitals and schools and things that Presbyterians have started around the world for many years. They are also holders of our life income plans who rely on their annuities to provide their retirement income. So we do have a fiduciary concern about them and how we can best provide for them. So I'm not saying it's an impossible thing, but I'm saying that that is one of the considerations that we have to look at. And it's one of the reasons that we've been looking for alternatives that would be faithful, that might not have those same costs.